A worry for us a few days ago because tickets still weren't like selling pretty well. But we're glad that tickets were actually sold out today. So thank you all for coming here.
Okay, does anyone have a question for anyone seated up here? Fine, I will start it. Okay, so to the filmmakers, why this band? Why this story?
Because we were bored and we had nothing to do. Okay, actually the whole thing came about when one day me and Helmi were at work and we were sort of like frustrated with what we were doing at work. Like, we having to like listen to clients and like listening to what other people say. So we wanted a project where we could actually do something on our own and something that no one could tell us how to do it and basically do something that what we wanted to. And on that same day, we actually read an article about this band going to Texas and this band holding a benefit gig. And we just decided on the spot that, that would make a good story. And I guess from there we did a few calls and that's how the story got started.
So, was it luck that you guys actually managed to work together?
It was fate.
Yeah, I think it was an opportunity right there, and I think we took it. We decided to just take it and go with it, and talk to them about doing it. And at first, I think they thought, who are these guys? Because I think Amran will tell you later on that they get a lot of this kind of requests to use their music for like projects and stuff. But I think after a while of talking to them, they finally let us into their lives, and I think that is quite nice of them. And it's been a privilege filming them for the past 2 years, and thanks guys.
Okay, so to the band, why did you decide to say yes to this one? Spokesperson, Amran?
Not the spokesperson, but it took us a while to decide. I think when the filmmakers, when we eventually met, they said we took 2 weeks to respond to the email. I think maybe our initial reaction was, first and foremost, we were pretty busy trying to sort out, the financials, the logistics of getting ourselves on tour in the US. And when the request came, we were surprised. Why would people, that wasn't associated with the band be interested in telling our story? Like, we were a bit skeptical, and we also wondered what it would mean to us, when we had a lot of other things to prepare for as well. But I remember our first meeting was at the Arab Street. We met at a coffee shop, and I asked the guys, do you really want to do this? And they said, yeah. And I think while we weren't sure of the commitment, I think 3 days later they met us with, cameras in tow, and then for the next few months they were in our lives almost every day, at meals, at band practice, at meetings. They spent more time with us than they did with their girlfriends at that point of time, and it really, really surprised us in terms of the commitment. They traveled with us to the Philippines. They did, so many things with us that we on our hand, we're honored to have, someone tell our story.
Okay, so back to the filmmakers, or actually maybe to both sides. I mean, what were the toughest parts of pulling this together? Considering, it was the first time for both sides to do something like this.
I think for the two of us, we had day jobs, so time was an issue. We had to spend time outside of work and maybe steal some time at work to do this. But I think it's been worth it. And yeah, time is the most important thing, and they didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have a lot of time because we need to capture whatever they need to do in that time. Yeah, so I think that's one of the things that we have to go through.
And for the band, what was tough about this?
Letting people into our lives. Yeah, probably. I mean, you saw on screen a lot of moments where we did stupid things that normally people wouldn't know about. There's a lot more that didn't end up on the film, thankfully.
We smoke more than what you see on screen. Yeah. I think the directors have more commitment to the band than we do ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it was unnerving at first. I think, obviously having people come and film every moment you spend together as a band. Um, the cameras capturing everything that you're doing, and you become conscious about it. But eventually, I guess we grew accustomed to it, lah. But it was always a spectacle. I mean, where we were outside, like you saw at Raffles Sea, there'll be a camera or two, and people will be wondering what's going on. Um, but after a while, we kind of got used to it. Yeah.
Okay, so anyone has anything? If not, I'll just ramble on. Yeah, go ahead.
For the band. So what do you use for inspiration for your music? Because it's mostly instrumental, right? It's largely instrumental, right?
I mean, yeah, it's instrumental, but we have our own stories and meanings behind all the songs.
Musicians like tell their own stories through their music. So, but you have no lyrics, so you have to tell it through the notes, right? The melodies.
Yeah, I mean, I think because we don't have any lyrics, the story is more of an emotive one. We want to create a mood or a feel that we hope that you would, also experience through the music. But on our level, when we write, we're inspired by all sorts of things. I mean, girls mainly, even though they don't translate into the titles, but well, sometimes they do. But all sorts of things in life, what we face, situations, people, and ghost stories and whatnot. And of course, as you know, I mean, the experience of us bonding and traveling and having challenges, I mean, that contributed to Swaps, yeah.
Speaking about what our inspirations, finally, because just every night on the Malay channel they'll be telling ghost stories. We are all avid ghost story fans. So my sister was looking up this site. When she searched I think Singapore ghost stories. Then our name was on the Google search. So yeah, creatures of
like the song Bad Cops and Ghost Fuck was inspired by two stories from that show. Mystery Damdullah, if you've heard of it. Yeah. So most, if you're talking about lyrics, we usually just summarize what the song is about in the lyrics. Like Fear of Heights is about something, and so but that's just our inside joke, like it's nothing.
You realize the screening, when we were singing, I guess you'll know why we don't sing. we try maybe the next CD.
So you know that closing scene where the and it just kept going and going. To me, that was the frustration, and that was like summing up the entire journey. Is that what it was meant to convey?
You mean the last part?
Yeah.
That was actually just to fill up the time because we had like 1 hour.
Hey, people trying to be artistic here now. Never mind. Okay, so hindsight, right, is a very powerful thing. Probably none of you ever really thought that you'd be here right now, or like from SIFF and whatever else. How did it feel when you guys found out that you made SIFF? How does it feel to have sold out to 2 sellout screenings, and what happens from here? From the band as well.
So I think I got a call from SIFF and I missed the call, and I was in reservist, and then they called Razin, and then busy as well. So he missed the call too. So they sent us an email. So, but I think we are very, very happy that it premiered in Singapore and not somewhere else. I mean, it would have been great as well, but because it's a story about Singaporeans, so I really love that it premiered here, and you guys being here, all the proceeds tonight will go to funding what we would like to do in the next few months is to send out the film for more festivals around the world and make it reach a bigger audience. So thank you all for coming again.
Also, I mean, coming back to your question, whether we thought we would be here with a documentary, we never imagined we would be doing such a thing. So it came as a huge surprise to us, and obviously over the 2 screenings, it's been wonderful to sell out. It's I mean to have them sold out as shows, and
If you want to put the sell out.
but and to have friends and people interested in our story and the music supporting. This was something that we had mentioned the last time when we did the original premiere. I think while what you see is a story on I Am David Sparkle, it's really a story about musicians and struggling artists here in Singapore. There's a lot of challenges that bands like us and all the other bands in the indie scene face. And again, we cannot, from the band and our label, we cannot say how thankful we are for the filmmakers to come together and make this a labor of love, to share this story. And what was inspiring to us at the first screening was after we were done, we had people coming up and saying how they were really, really inspired by the story, and we are actually inspired that they feel this way, and that some of them continued to message us, whether on email or on Facebook, saying that they're picking up their bands again, or they're doing something similar along those lines, and that's really fantastic. I think while the directors hope for the film to travel as far as possible and to highlight a story about Singapore and about Singaporean musicians, I think what we want to do is to inspire others to ignore all these signs as well.